Have you ever stopped to imagine what life would really look like after your spouse dies first? It's one of those thoughts that most of us, especially seniors older, try to push away. Nobody wants to picture the empty side of the bed, the silent chair at the dinner table, or the unanswered conversations in the middle of the night. Yet, countless people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s eventually face that reality. And when they do, they often whisper the same confession: "I never thought it would feel like this." What follows isn't just sadness, it's something heavier. It's regret. The kind that doesn't scream at you, but quietly lingers in your chest, reminding you of all the little things you should have done differently. I've spoken with many widows and widowers across America and Europe, and their stories share striking similarities. These aren't people who failed in their marriages. On the contrary, many of them had long, loving relationships. But once their partner passed, they realized that certain everyday choices, certain overlooked habits, turned into the most painful regrets of their later years. And here's the truth: these regrets aren't about dramatic betrayals or life-shattering mistakes. They're about small, ordinary things that almost everyone overlooks. Not saying enough kind words. Not taking care of your own health while you still had time. Not preparing for simple daily realities like money management or social connections. Not creating enough shared memories while you still had the chance. What's heartbreaking is that these regrets are preventable. You can avoid them. But here's the catch: you can't wait until it's too late. You must start paying attention now, while your partner is still alive, while you still have the ability to shape your daily life. Because the truth is, tomorrow isn't guaranteed. And when tomorrow doesn't come, yesterday's choices become today's burdens. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, "We'll take that trip later," or "I'll start eating healthier after this year," or "I'll say what I feel when the moment is right"? These promises are so common among seniors older, but they're also dangerous. Later often turns into never. And when your spouse is gone, you're left wishing for one more day, one more chance, one more ordinary morning together. That's when the weight of regret becomes unbearable. Science actually supports what these stories reveal. Research in gerontology shows that seniors who fail to prepare emotionally and physically for widowhood are 3 times more likely to suffer depression and physical decline. The most important habits, communication, self-care, planning, and social connection, are often ignored until it's too late. These findings don't just come from statistics. They're echoed in personal testimonies of men and women who discovered too late that love alone is not enough to protect you from regret. So, in this video, we're going to explore these 5 things that so many people admit they regret the most once their spouse is gone. More importantly, we'll talk about how you can avoid them, what habits you can adopt today, what small steps you must take now, to make sure that when that moment comes, you'll look back not with regret, but with gratitude. Stay with me, because one of the regrets I'll reveal later is something almost nobody talks about publicly, yet it might just be the difference between a life of emptiness and a life of meaning even after loss. First regret. Let's begin with the first regret, the one that almost every widow or widower I've met has confessed at some point: not saying enough. It might sound simple, almost too simple to matter. But when you listen closely to the voices of seniors older who have lost their lifelong partners, you'll hear the same ache repeated over and over. They didn't say, "I love you" enough. They didn't say, "Thank you" often enough. They didn't say, "I'm sorry," when they should have. These small, everyday things may feel insignificant in the moment, but they turn into the most painful regrets once silence becomes permanent. Take the story of James, 74, from Dallas, Texas. James was a retired solder, a man who lived a disciplined life filled with structure, rules, and habits of efficiency. His wife, Mary, was his steady companion for over 45 years. They built a home together, raised children, celebrated birthdays, and supported each other through sickness and health. But when Mary passed away suddenly from a heart attack, James felt a grief that went far beyond her absence. He told me, "I regret not telling her more often how much I loved her. I thought she already knew. I thought my actions were enough. But now, every night, I lie awake wishing I had said those words more." What James experienced isn't unusual. Psychologists at Harvard conducted a long-term study on aging, known as the Harvard Study of Adult Development, and they found that seniors who openly express affection and gratitude daily report 23% lower levels of depression after losing a spouse. On the other hand, those who keep emotions bottled up tend to spiral into regret and loneliness. This means that something as simple as saying, "Thank you for dinner," or "I'm proud of you," can actually serve as emotional protection against future grief. These aren't just polite gestures, they are investments in your own future well-being. Think about your own daily life. How often do you assume your partner already knows what you feel? How many times have you skipped a compliment because you thought it was unnecessary? Or avoided an apology because you didn't want to admit fault? These little things might not seem urgent today, but one day, when you're sitting alone at the kitchen table, you may find that they were the most urgent of all. And here's where science meets the heart. Neuroscience tells us that spoken words of affection trigger the release of oxytocin and dopamine, the so-called bonding and happiness chemicals. These not only strengthen your relationship in the present but also leave lasting imprints in your memory. When your spouse is gone, the words you exchanged become part of the soundtrack you replay in your mind. If those words are scarce, the silence becomes unbearable. If those words are abundant, the memories become a source of comfort. So the lesson here is clear: you must not avoid saying what matters. Don't fall into the trap of thinking your partner already knows. Of course, they probably do, but hearing it never loses its power. Saying, "I love you," every day doesn't cheapen the phrase, it enriches it. Telling your partner, "I'm grateful for you," doesn't make you weak, it makes your bond stronger. These simple habits are among the most powerful things you can do to protect yourself from the regret that so many seniors older face later. James, even in his pain, left me with a piece of advice that I'll share with you: don't wait for a special occasion. Every day is a special occasion. Say the words today, because tomorrow you might only wish you had. That wisdom, backed by science and lived experience, is why this first regret stands at the top of the list. Second regret. The second regret that so many seniors older confess is this: they neglected their own health while caring for their spouse. At first glance, this may sound selfless, even noble. After all, isn't love about putting the other person first? But here's the harsh truth: when you completely forget about your own well-being, the price you pay is steep, and regret comes knocking hard after your partner is gone. Because once you're left alone, the very body and mind you ignored become your only companions. Let me share with you the story of Linda, 68, from Manchester, UK. For years, she dedicated herself to caring for her husband, Paul, who struggled with Parkinson's disease. Every morning, Linda woke up early to prepare his medications, help him dress, and sit by his side through endless hospital visits. She was proud of being his rock, but in the process, she stopped paying attention to herself. She skipped meals, gained weight, and ignored her doctor's warnings about high blood pressure. When Paul eventually passed away, Linda found herself not only grieving but also battling her own serious medical problems. "I thought I had more time to take care of myself later," she admitted. But later never came. This isn't just Linda's story, it's a pattern supported by data. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology revealed that caregivers over the age of 60 have a 63% higher chance of developing chronic illnesses such as hypertension, diabetes, and arthritis. And according to the American Psychological Association, long-term caregivers show significantly higher rates of depression and anxiety than other seniors of the same age group. The shocking part? Many of these conditions could have been reduced or delayed with basic habits: daily walking, balanced meals, regular checkups, and even something as simple as drinking enough water. These aren't luxury routines, they're survival skills you must not overlook. When I asked Linda what she regretted the most, she said something that struck me deeply: "I wish I had remembered that I was part of the equation too. I thought love meant giving all of myself away, but I see now that my health was the only gift I had left to carry forward." Her words echo the reality for countless seniors older who forget that self-care is not selfishness, it's preparation. Because after your spouse is gone, you can't serve anyone, not even yourself, if your body is too weak or your mind too fragile. So, let me say this plainly: if you are in this season of life, you must avoid neglecting your health. Take that walk. Eat those vegetables. Schedule that doctor's visit. These are not trivial things, they are investments in the years you may still have. Remember, your partner would never want you to sacrifice your own well-being completely. True love is not about destroying yourself, it's about sustaining yourself so that life still has meaning even in their absence. And now, let me pause here and ask you, Are you still with me up to this second point? If you are, I'd love for you to type number 2 down in the comments. That way I know you're paying attention and walking this journey with me. And while you're there, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, Golden Age Wisdom, and share it with others. Because trust me, someone out there right now needs to hear this before it's too late. Third regret. The third regret that many seniors older carry with them is not preparing financially and emotionally for life after a spouse passes away. For decades, couples often fall into a natural division of responsibilities. One handles the bills, taxes, and savings, while the other focuses on the household, meals, or caregiving. It feels efficient and comfortable when both partners are alive. But here's the catch: when one partner is suddenly gone, the surviving spouse often finds themselves standing in the middle of a storm they don't know how to navigate. These are the kinds of things that many realize too late, and they become some of the most painful regrets in widowhood. Let's talk about Margaret, 82, from Boston, Massachusetts. For 52 years, she was married to Thomas, a kind and hardworking man who managed all their finances. Margaret devoted herself to raising their children, volunteering at church, and making a warm home. She never once wrote a check, logged into a bank account, or read through their insurance policies. I trusted him completely, she told me, and I thought love meant never needing to worry about these matters. But when Thomas passed away from a stroke, Margaret was left with a mountain of paperwork, unpaid bills, and legal documents she could barely understand. I felt like a stranger in my own life, she admitted. It wasn't just grief, it was panic. I didn't even know how to keep the lights on. Sadly, Margaret's experience is not unique. AARP conducted a survey showing that nearly 56% of widows in the United States reported struggling with financial management in the first year of widowhood. And according to Fidelity Investments, seniors over 70 who had never managed finances before are twice as likely to suffer from anxiety and depression after losing a spouse. What's striking is that these emotional consequences aren't only about money, they're about confidence, identity, and security. When you don't know how to handle the basics, every bill becomes a crisis, every letter in the mail feels like a threat. This lack of preparation also affects physical health. Stress hormones like cortisol spike when you're faced with constant financial uncertainty, which research shows can weaken the immune system and increase the risk of heart disease. It's not just paperwork, it's survival. That's why one of the habits you must develop while your spouse is still alive is learning the essentials together. Share passwords, understand bank accounts, keep copies of important documents, and talk openly about end-of-life planning. These conversations may feel uncomfortable, but they are acts of love. Many seniors older told me that they regret avoiding these discussions, thinking it would jinx the future or feel too grim. But in reality, avoiding them only guarantees regret later. The truth is, you can avoid much of this pain by facing it head-on now. As one widow from Chicago told me, I thought planning for his death meant inviting it. Now I see that planning would have given me peace instead of chaos. So, let this be your reminder, love is not only about flowers and anniversaries, it's also about preparing your partner to stand strong if they must walk alone. Don't let financial and emotional unpreparedness be one of the things you regret the most. Fourth regret. The fourth regret that weighs heavily on many seniors older is underestimating the crushing power of loneliness after a spouse passes away. When you've shared your life with someone for decades, their absence isn't just emotional, it's physical, social, and even medical. Yet too many people assume they'll manage somehow when the time comes. They don't build friendships outside the marriage. They don't join community groups. They don't develop hobbies or interests of their own. And when widowhood arrives, they suddenly find themselves isolated in a silent house, surrounded by memories but starved of connection. These are the kinds of things that become the most unbearable regrets because they rob you of joy exactly when you need it most. Take the story of George, 79, from Seattle, Washington. George spent 54 years married to his wife, Eleanor. They did everything together: church on Sundays, gardening in the spring, crossword puzzles in the evenings. But George never really built friendships outside of Eleanor. When she died from cancer, George told me, the house didn't just feel empty. I felt like my whole life went dark. I didn't know who to call. I didn't even know how to fill the hours. He admitted that his regret wasn't only losing her, it was realizing he had built no community to stand beside him in her absence. Science confirms what George's story reveals. According to a 2023 report from the National Institute on Aging, loneliness in seniors has the same negative impact on health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's right, being isolated doesn't just hurt emotionally, it literally damages the body. Seniors who live alone without strong social networks are 50% more likely to develop dementia and 29% more likely to suffer heart disease. These aren't small risks, they're life-defining. And yet, many avoid building connections because they feel too shy, too old, or too dependent on their spouse for social life. Here's the truth: human beings are wired for connection. Loneliness is not a minor inconvenience, it's a health crisis. Which is why you must develop habits now that protect you from this regret. Join a senior center, call your siblings, meet neighbors, volunteer, or even learn to use technology like video calls. These things may feel awkward at first, but they are the threads that will weave a safety net for your future self. George eventually learned this lesson the hard way. After months of isolation, he joined a local men's walking group. He said the simple act of talking to people his own age while exercising gave him a sense of belonging again. "I wish I had started sooner," he told me. "The silence almost killed me. Friendship saved me." His words carry a warning, but also a solution: don't wait until loneliness becomes unbearable. Act now, while you still have the chance. And let me pause here to ask, are you still with me at this fourth regret? If you are, type number 4 in the comments so I know you're following along. And while you're at it, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, Golden Age Wisdom, and share this video with someone you care about. Because believe me, these reminders might save not just years of life, but the quality of life itself. Fifth regret. The fifth regret that countless seniors older admit, often with tears in their eyes, is not creating enough shared memories before their spouse passed away. It may sound simple, even sentimental, but when you stand alone after decades of companionship, the moments you didn't make become louder than the ones you did. These aren't regrets about not buying bigger houses or collecting material wealth. Instead, they are about the things that truly matter: the vacations postponed, the conversations never had, the photographs never taken, the laughter never shared. These are the absences that weigh the most heavily on the heart. Consider the story of Maria, 74, from Barcelona, Spain. Maria and her husband, Luis, often dreamed of traveling through Europe once they retired. "We'll see Paris, Vienna, maybe even Rome," they promised each other. But when retirement came, they kept delaying. First it was the expense, then health concerns, then simply the comfort of routine. "We thought we had more time," Maria told me. But Luis died unexpectedly from a heart attack at 71. Maria now looks back with deep regret. "We spent years talking about all the places we would go. Now all I have are brochures in a drawer, and no one to share the journey with." Her experience reflects a universal truth: memories are the legacy of love. According to research published in the Journal of Positive Psychology, older adults who invest in creating shared experiences with their partners report significantly higher levels of life satisfaction and resilience after loss. Those who don't often find themselves consumed by a sense of incompleteness, replaying what could have been over and over. Scientists even link this type of regret to prolonged grief disorder, a condition in which sorrow becomes chronic and crippling. What's striking is that creating memories doesn't always require grand adventures. It's not just about Paris or Rome. Sometimes it's about taking a walk at sunset, celebrating small anniversaries, writing love letters, or recording family stories for the next generation. These ordinary habits become extraordinary treasures once one partner is gone. As one widower from Dublin told me, "I don't regret not buying a bigger house. I regret not sitting on the porch with her more often, listening to the rain." The truth is, you must act now to avoid this regret. Don't wait for the perfect time, the perfect amount of money, or the perfect plan. Life rarely grants perfection, it grants opportunities. And if you keep postponing, those opportunities vanish. Even simple photographs can matter. Studies show that widows and widowers who regularly look through photo albums report lower rates of depression and stronger emotional resilience. Memories, whether captured on film or simply stored in the heart, become the bridge between grief and gratitude. So when you think of the things that will matter the most when your spouse is gone, remember this: not the money in the bank, not the furniture in the living room, but the experiences you shared. The laughter at the dinner table, the trip you dared to take, the ordinary days you turned into something special. These are the treasures that remain long after the people we love are gone. To neglect them is to invite one of the deepest regrets of all. Closing. We have now walked through 5 of the deepest regrets that so many seniors older experience after losing their spouse. And as heavy as these stories may sound, I want you to remember something vital. The reason we talk about regrets is not to drown in sadness, but to learn how to avoid them. Regrets are lessons written in the lives of others, lessons that give us a chance to act differently, to live more fully, and to love more intentionally. These are not just abstract ideas, they are real warnings from people who have walked the path before you, people who have whispered, "If only I had done things differently." You and I still have time to listen to those whispers and transform them into action. Think back on the 5 regrets we uncovered together. The first regret was unspoken words, the "I love yous" that were never said, the forgiveness that was never offered. The second regret was neglecting your own health while caring for your spouse, forgetting that you too must survive beyond them. The third regret was financial and emotional unpreparedness, those practical but essential things that can make widowhood either survivable or unbearable. The fourth regret was the crushing weight of loneliness, the isolation that sneaks in when no community has been built. And the fifth regret was unfinished memories, those missed chances to create moments that last a lifetime. Together, these lessons paint a picture, not of despair, but of opportunity. Because now, you know what so many others wish they had known before. Every one of these regrets carries the same underlying truth: life is fragile, unpredictable, and fleeting. We don't know how many years we have left, or how many sunrises we will share with the person we love most. But what we do know is that today is in our hands. Today, you can choose to speak words of love. Today, you can take steps toward better habits for your health. Today, you can open the bills, learn about the finances, and prepare. Today, you can call a friend, join a group, or simply reach out to someone you trust. Today, you can plan a trip, take a photo, write a note, or make a memory. These may seem like small actions, but they are the building blocks of a life without regret. I think of it this way: when your spouse is gone, and you are left standing in the quiet of your home, what will you want to remember? It won't be the big houses or the fancy things. It will be the sound of their laughter, the touch of their hand, the strength of your own body still carrying you forward, and the knowledge that you are not alone. Those are the treasures you must prepare for now. So, as we close this journey together, I want to turn the question to you. Are you still here with me, reflecting on these lessons at this 5th and final point? If you are, type number 5 in the comments. Let me know you're walking this path with me, not just listening, but choosing to act. And if this video spoke to you in any way, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, Golden Age Wisdom, and share it with your friends or family. Because the truth is, every person over 60 deserves to hear these reminders. Sometimes a single story, a single warning, can save someone from years of pain. Remember, regrets are powerful teachers, but only if we listen. Don't let these stories be just tales of sorrow. Let them be the spark that inspires you to change your daily habits, to love more deeply, to prepare more wisely, and to live with courage. Because in the end, the greatest gift you can give yourself, your spouse, and your family is not a life without loss, it's a life without regrets. Thank you for watching this video until the end. I hope it was useful, and see you in the next one.